Hey YouTubers, you kind of noticed the back of my four-wheeler's changed. Well, this morning me and a little buddy came down here and we tore us apart. And I thought this bearing carrier that these welded nuts was wrong. Well, they moved. uh, yeah, look at that measly little tack weld. I'm assuming they make the bolts this much oversized so they can line up the rear end or something. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, I can see welding the nuts because they're hard to get into because the gear is right up against here. But on the affected side that had slipped ahead, both of these was broke loose. Like I said, just little tack welds. There's no penetration there at all. See, that came right off that nut. Look, nothing here. I mean, it's just they expected the tightness of the bolt to hold it, and then what they did was they took and expected, to be able to throw a lock washer and a flat washer together and put them through here, which there's a lot of play in there too. And even that washer's kind of cupped out a little bit, so taking it off may not be a good idea. I may end up tacking that to the just tacking that to the four-wheeler so that it'll be bound to the four-wheeler, and then the lock washer will actually work. As far as this goes, I can re-weld these on here and then really weld them on here, but I'm going to have to take out the seal. This seal on this side's bad, which I don't know. I mean, it just has a lot of force with the chain pulling it tight, and then, as the four-wheeler goes, it's pulling that chain, and it's probably flexing it. The wheel bearing itself seems fairly good. I mean, it's tight. There's the spacer pipe on the inside. So, if I go to I can probably get the seals out and replace this one and do my welding on it, and I want to weld the other side because, honestly, it's going to break eventually. But I'll have to replace the seal, but the seal would melt if I really got welded. And that's probably why they tacked it so lightly. It's because they didn't want the heat to mess this up if they were just lining it up. But anyway, my plan is I put in a message went to Amazon to this company called Smart Deals. That's where I bought these four-wheelers off of. And messaged them and told them this thing was crooked, but I didn't know it was broken off. That's why it was crooked, because it had slid over, because they drilled great big holes through there, which is stupid, but anyway. The older I get, the more I see stuff, and it's like, that there's no other word for it. That's just bad engineering stupidity. They build these, and it ain't the people's fault, because they're worked to death probably. China's so fair with equal labor laws and everything. There's probably near slave labor that actually builds this stuff. I don't know. It's sad to say, but anyway, that's what happens when you get dictators and stuff. But anyway, back to the four-wheeler. If I can't get anything from them, I'm just going to take and really weld these up. I have to pull out the seals, and I'd like to take out the bearings. Either way, I'm drilling and tapping and putting a grease zerk in here because I did that with the little buddy's 90cc four-wheeler, and it pushes grease out through them, which is good because then water can't get in there and ruin the bearings. I'll just maybe replace the bearings because by the time I beat these out with that pipe being where it is, by the time I beat these out, they're probably going to be ruined anyway. So beat them out, put new bearings and seals in it, weld these up a lot, maybe tack these washers to the inside so that the lock washers will work. The bottom ones didn't even have washers on them, although a lock washer would have worked because see this, when it's up there, it's held. So a lock washer would have done good there, but they didn't think about that. And they put the flat washer with the lock washer, which pretty much makes the lock washer useless. So, and their lock washers ain't very offset. I mean, anyway, so we can get some new lock washers for them. tack weld these together, and I think I'll have solved my problem. I didn't think it was crooked when I bought it, or I would have noticed it. Of course, I'm getting older and I miss stuff in old days, but not that bad. I mean, geez. So that's what happened. It broke. The bolt slid over here, you know, like this, and that's what made it look crooked. And you know, you got a 1/2 inch there, you know, that'll make your wheel off by a couple inches, and that's pretty much what it was. So I have to put that back, weld it up real good. If they don't stand behind it, it's all it'll really cost me is my time and some welding rods, and you know, at least one new seal and possibly new bearings if I ruin them getting them out. But that's the gist of it. I want to take my daughter's apart and tack it better, and drill and tap it. So I'm out, get 4 bearings and 4 seals and see what happens. But yeah, these flanges are a little thin too for, you know, the main support on your, you know, rear end. I mean, these are awful thin. It's about 16. Them might be a quarter. But honestly, that's a little under engineered there. Yeah. So that's what they look like once you take them apart. Of course, that's the mount for your brakes. So a little itty bitty caliper there. But anyway, that's my plan. See what they say. As of 11:30 this morning, they hadn't gotten back to me. So we will just wait and see if they stand behind their product. Later, YouTubers.